Welcome to my space. My life and journey is one of ups and downs. Life can be very challenging, but it's when we open up that we find our solace. Let's heal. Let's grow. Let's cry. And you know what? Laugh together. Welcome to Conversations with the Pomzile. Your girl next door. When I'm with my girl next door, it's very nice because, with conversation. So this is we're breaking your virginity. Welcome to Conversations. You've never been here, but you're my girl next door. How come? How come?
I think when the time is right, like now.
That now. This is the right time.
This is the right time.
Because I've been saying, I want to make sure that I have my girl next door first because their wisdom, when Moshe no muntu and there's these nuggets and wisdom, it has wisdom, nama nuggets every other day. Thank you. Coach Jesus. Welcome. Thank you for agreeing. So you are here. So this is just we not moving into a new direction, but now I want to have proper conversations and girl talk. I think all these girl talks that we normally have in society, we'll talk about how we met, because I think our kids, our friends, and other people will learn so much from the things that we talk. Masisodwa, but ziphelela kithi, because we are different as parents, we are different as abo auntie and all that. We wanna come there, but masikhuluma, siyahluba. I remember with the one conversation with Ubu. Focus, pair, those kind of things like, whichever you pair. But anyway, I still use a cookbook. I still have it.
That's why I asked.
Yo, guys, do you remember my one salad? Baked beans, acha, and Vienna's. Every time. Let's leave it. So we met, how many years ago? If it's not over 17, 18 years ago.
It can be. It's way over 20. Remember, we started with the other girls in 2000. So you could have came along around about 2002, 2003, along these lines. So it's way over 20 years.
Way over 20 years.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I joined this group of trend sisters. I don't even know what was trending then, but hey, what trends were you setting? But maybe let's start there.
Yes.
Why trend sisters? Because in Tolevele, you guys were ready. Why was like, yeah, I'm a trend sisters. I trended.
Yeah.
Why?
Trend back then, it isn't what it is today.
Yeah.
Trending back then, it meant that we will be girls who are doing things differently.
Yes.
And we choose the path that most people less travel.
Yes.
So we chose the word, the name Trend Sisters, so as to set trends. Set trends as a group, not individual.
Yes,
as a group, not individual. So we attained a lot.
I remember when I got there. So I knew there were other things outside of, guys, let's invest, let's learn to save. We're not going to talk about financial because there's a lot of financial advisors out there, but girl talk. Your first impression of me when we met. When you see this girl, what? Your first memory and impression of me.
Wow, first thing first that I picked up from you is that you were very artsy.
Oh yes,
meaning that creativity around those.
I feel like I lost that.
Yeah, not at all. You still are. Look at your earrings right now. That's arts. That is being artistic, and in your choice of accessories that you put, you still are carrying that with you. I remember you had a long skirt. You had dreadlocks. You had that Rastafarian T-shirt on, and
what? What do you mean? Oh yes!
And I'm liking what I see. I'm loving what I see. She's a nice person, and the smile above everything else.
Oh yes,
that's what came through.
Let me tell you. My first memory of you, me, I was always, even in our peer age, because we are more or less the same age, but I was like, yo, this businesswoman, yo, this wife, this parent, Like your strictness. Because I remember most of the time when we're gonna talk about food and bringing food, immediately we're gonna like, why is there so much oil there? Like, when did she grow up? Because we are same age, but why does she know so much? You know? But I think as I got to know you, your heart was always in other people's growth, wellness, because you are the only person who, with every society, you come, guys, now I know we are investing, we need to start thinking about property. I'm like, yo, this person is so ahead. Property? Like, what is she talking about? And then you remove it, it's not property. Guys, we need to start reading books. Because we're reading books now. Hey, now we share up for this. Now we share. I'm signed up for this. I'm not coming, you know. But little did I know our journey. We became tighter, even when the society stopped. And like, my next question is, I think part of the things that drew me, I was gonna ask you what drew you to me.
Yeah.
But what drew me so much on you was your wisdom, babe. You know, and you would not want anyone, whether it's me or I remember we have other friends and all that, to be in a situation whereby you can't get out of. Yes. I think for me, when I held on to you, this girl will come. Solutions. You can't be sitting like, what's wrong here? Where? No. So what drew me to you was that. How did you stay with this crazy girl? I didn't even picture myself staying with you. I'm telling you the honest truth. I didn't at all, because I'm thinking, as we continue this relationship, do I want to live there? I don't want to live there. But this, that, and that. But at the end of the day, I must say, as we continued our relationship and we acquainted more, and like they say, you know, with time, everything becomes better. And that's what happened. And I ended up saying, oh, she doesn't mean any harm, and she's a good person. After all, I need to see the smile from time to time. And you ask yourself, when did this question come, this decision come along? The decision came along when we were at Mangwanani. I don't know if you remember what trip to Mangwanani. When you went for the spa day. Oh my goodness. When you did a challenge that I haven't spoken to you about, but I'm free to talk about it now that we are conversing. You took me from my comfort zone to challenging me and me deciding whether I want to be around you or not. The question you asked me is like, I made an introspection of myself. And after the introspection, I had to decide, do I continue? I had an option, by the way, whether to cut it or to continue. But guess what? I had to continue because it was valuable for the continuity. Oh, yeah. And the question you asked me was, what's wrong? Why are you scared of me? Or am I appealing to your masculine side? I'm like, what is she talking about? What is she all about? And from there, I got comfortable and I got, I would even talk about you to my other friends to say, hey, there's this chick, man, unbeknown that will end up sitting like this at one point and having a girl talk. But it has been always a conscious decision that I took, that will always continue with our relationship and our friendship. And when we were testing if we're still together as twin sisters and everything, and you were constant. Oh yeah, I must say you were constant. Just as I would have loved for one to be from that group, from those friendships, because I know I'm a lover. Yeah, if you want to call it that, because I've got my relationship spans with people are not short-term relationships, they are long-term relationships. Yeah. I've got my girls that I've kept for the past 35 years. From varsity years. So that's one of our common values. Yes. Friendships that last. That will last and will stand the test of time. And above everything, the growth that comes from these relationships, you value them like that.
to say I wouldn't want to go and lose this person simply because they add value in my life one way or the other.
So true.
Yes.
You know, now, like, as we're going back, and my memories is going back to the things and the conversations, because I remember the other thing that not irritated you, you say, I had so many people around me.
Yes.
Too many people around me. You know, and most people will like wonder, how do you juggle so many things, so many friendships, and so many activities? And I didn't know how then. I think it was just my nature. But I think I enjoyed you embracing me, because I remember, we went to my mom the other day. So and then as we are working with the production team, like shout out production team. So they were asking my mom what type of a person I was as a child, you know. So and my mom went first, but then I tomboy like. So in terms of me and being the person who is just like that, you know, and me, my sexuality, and everything that around me. But when I move with the movers, so I think when I did the events with the LGBTQI and all that, when I knew that you like me and like I'm your friend, like she's my friend. Well, like you're gonna come with me everywhere. I'm like, yes. So that's when I knew. But I told them, you see, this one I have, because there was no judgment. You never judged my decisions. And yes, in marriage and in everything else, and even like how I parent. You know how I parent. I parent.
Yes. But thinking of it right now, you know, I had so many questions and somehow conflict within. Around those times and the decision that I was making. And lately I've sat back and look at it and said, but this was a good decision at the end of the day, because had it been that I was judgmental like that or came openly with my judgment, yes, I did have. And I had to keep it reserved for some time and, you know, get to understand, you know, you have those moments and things like those. But I appreciated the fact that you're the one person who came in that space and introduced me in that space and, you know, including yourself in our engagements and also
other
us
people
in your engagement. And somehow you managed and you balanced all the worlds that you were playing in, you know, you managed somehow to have a balance. As a parent, I used to envy you when you were with my daughter. As much as I was a mother to your daughter, and at the point, you look like my daughter.
Definitely. I still we still look alike.
Exactly.
When I see your daughter, like, we still look alike.
Exactly. And
it was the funniest thing.
And how do you then reject something like this? I mean, as how things are happening and all that, but
I think the daughters also, I think for me, it felt so good to know that I was that mom within the group where all the daughters will be like, So, and I knew that
I think your playful nature there.
I think so.
And you are very accommodating of all of them. Tina Pella, you must remember.
You were mothers.
We were mothers, and we were finding our space in the motherhood as well. Remember, we were mothered as well, but we didn't want to be mothered the way exactly. So we chose a different path. And remember, my path was going to be different from yours. I remember we were from a trip. I can't remember. I think it was in Pumalanga when we did the God's windows and all that. We came back and the drop off was at my house and we were still standing chatting and people are seeing the house going lighting off and they were asking, who's lighting? And I'm still who's putting the lights on? And it was Khananitza at that age. And people are saying, she knows how to light the house and all that. I said, she's got everything under control. And you guys were surprised. You say, guy, whether you must be running a boot camp.
Yes, because this child, this young,
and then exactly they know what to do.
Dude, how?
Exactly. So that challenge of being a mother and a friend all at the same time. I think much as we didn't master it then, when you had mother control.
Our early 20s, 30s.
I became mother at 27. 29.
Yes, 29.
Yes,
Yeah,
29.
but like in the 20s.
Yes,
you
still
know.
in the 20s, yeah. And it was difficult.
Shoo!
Yo, yeah, what a challenge. But yeah, it became easy because of the friends that we
I think
have
it
around
did.
us. Yeah,
It really
yeah.
helped that because we're able to bounce off
Exact
each other
ideas,
and
yes.
ideas. Yo, I have this issue. One of the things that I think attracted me to you is your drive.
Yes.
Bruh, you know the way now coming to the situation where as we grow, like you work maybe a 9 to 5,
Yes.
you are scared to jump,
Yes.
or even if whether you are pushed out or you are not pushed out, and you get to a point whereby life can change anytime, any day, and you need to be flexible and just move.
True.
I've seen you in the years changing jobs, starting businesses, but you were always business minded and all that. You would not stay anywhere where you feel like, you move, and you would move and you do something else. That for me was like, wow. So when did you realize that you have that nature and that drive? You're able to, you know what, I will rely on me, or I don't know what it is, but when did you or how did it come about to know, I need to depend on me, and there will never be a time whereby it doesn't matter what happens in my life, but I'll always not. You know, sometimes better things happen, you fall, it's how you get up.
Yes.
It's not even that. You know, you always, when you don't bounce, but you always bounce up. Because you would have, like, oh, but how guys, no, I'm not working there anymore, and all that. But when you come back, you have this humongous car, you bounce up. And all that. I'm building. People be like, you always bounce up. I'm like, how? I'm still stuck here. I've been wanting to build. I've been wanting to buy this. How is Portia bouncing up all the time? Like, tell me more.
I think if I was a privileged child, I would say maybe it's in the DNA.
Oh.
But unfortunately, it ain't. I'm going to take you as far back as primary school. Where I was a child, and I was a very sickly child.
Okay,
back in the years.
By the way, I was a very sickly child too.
Yes.
My mom was telling me.
Very, very sick. I remember I had to leave school.
Oh.
And by young, and I got to that space. Some of the things that happened in my childhood are just blanks. And, you know. But things that I remember about me growing up is that I hated my environment growing up. And I told myself, but you know, I need to better myself. If there's that saying of breaking generational curses, it started with me. And I had to re-look at the situation and say, I don't like what I see, but what it is that I can do as an individual. And to tell you the honest truth, it stemmed from there, and it never left me. And I started from there. I think I did my my primary school at St. Peter Claver in Pimville, Zone 5. I was staying in Zone 3. And then...
in Pimville?
Pimville, yes. And then my high school...
I was so bad.
Yes. So I started my high school in progress, and in 86 we didn't write our exam. It was pass one, pass all. And you know, as somebody who loves a challenge, somebody who's driven, you don't see that as a good thing. I didn't see that as a good thing at all. Because I wanted somebody to tell me, but you did well in your maths, and here you lacking, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or you failed, and the reason you failed is this. You know, all those kind of setup. So I decided, you know what, this is not a conducive environment. Other than that, a contributing factor was the situation at home, and I decided I'm leaving Soweto. And where to, I didn't know. But when I left, it was the last day of schooling, of holidays, and the first day of schooling on the other side.
Yeah.
I went to, what do you call it, Brets, some town, some village in Brets. And there, I got there, and I wanted to pursue my studies until I finished my grade 12, which I did. And yeah, I think it goes back to the drive that you had. Yes. And from there, I promise you, my high schooling was always business orientated my primary as well.
That's why.
Yes.
I
started umropozo back in the days when uzaropoza abantu clean abantu graph and all that. And today I'm
so the entrepreneurship has always been.
It has always the back got to me back then up until my varsity years.
Yes.
Born I go varsity.
There was a point where you were dressing me now.
Yes, I did.
Always.
You were my guinea pig.
Exactly. You became my guinea pig.
Which was nice because I got to do it. I freestyled with you.
I know. I think for me, with friendships and all that, if I can say I pride myself with something, for all my friends or people who come to me, if you have an idea and a plan, I can be a guinea pig.
Yes, and you love that. You are support. You are a cheerleader.
You can come and do it.
Yes, do it. You know, in everything. I don't remember a time where you never supported me in any venture that I got myself into. Self-made and everything.
Even now, okay, it's fine.
No, it is still designer water.
Okay, designer water. They'll be drinking. My first official sponsor.
Yes.
So then we have our water bag.
Most definitely, you get it.
Question.
Yes.
Portia, with all the challenges that you met through life, as you're talking about family and how your situation came from, how did you stay true to you, to who Portia is?
Whew, I think.
By the way, you are Portia and I'm Portia.
Yes! I was surprised people about Portia now.
Yeah, Portia. That's why that name I wasn't using it because it felt like, hi, I'm Portia.
Yes.
Hi, Portia, and I am
And eventually you pumzile Portia like that because you're Portia now. So I think pumzile. Yani. Knowing who you are. First of all, I think I need to say this, Buti. Knowing Christ in my life made me a better person. And knowing my purpose in life and discovering it starting listening. I know most of the people will look at me and babone umtu, or I used to have that a lot. Somebody who has a lot of pride, somebody who doesn't know how to clean, somebody who doesn't, and they get a shock of their life as soon as they come closer. Because now I need to remember with first introduction or first perception, you see me and you already do your judgment
how you dress
and
how you
exactly.
You remember?
Yeah. I think you can tell it better. So, but that came from a good place because number one, as I'm saying, had ambition and wanted to achieve certain things at a certain time and all that. And that drive on its own made me the kind of person that I am. And I wasn't in competition with anyone. And my doing was at my own pace. I never wanted to take anybody else's baggage and, pour myself in, so that I normally say, whatever that burdens me, I loosen up, or I lose it wherever it is and be able to move on. Because I am a firm believer, the more you concentrate on things, you're losing out on many opportunities that you could have otherwise identified and run with.
Sure. Sure. Before we close, my production team is a beautiful couple that is like newly committed.
Yes.
So part of the questions that they were like, hey, we want some not relationship advice, but in general, how would you advise young people now in terms of getting into marriage? How would you advise them in terms of the type of relationships that become like where stay, not to pay as a little dirty and everything else, but what are the now knowing what you know where you are now, and you have a young people who come to you to say, this is where I'm at in terms of relationship. How would you advise young people to relationship now?
How much time do you have?
Okay, we leave it at that. So we were talking about relationships, and you were like, "Hey, how much time do you have?" Because you know when you like half a century, guys. We've lived.
We've almost seen it all, eh?
Some of the things now we're like, we could have done this better, not even better, or even worse.
Or
There's others that you're
wishing I could have done this before I did that.
So tell me, your thoughts on relationshiping now.
Sure. Relationship is it's a good thing. Being in a relationship and loving someone is beautiful.
Yes.
And to the young ones, I would like to say, they must just enjoy one another when they're in a relationship and take time to know a person because the speed.
For me, it takes time to know somebody.
Yes.
My counter. You don't have to even take time to know somebody. Know that person where they are at that time.
Yes.
Because we evolve.
Yeah.
We evolve.
Of late, we are discovering a lot that we could have done in a relationship prior to even starting one.
Yes.
That you needed to understand a person from the family perspective that they're coming from and who they are now,
dynamics,
what they become, and what kind of a person that they're going to be in the future.
Because you never know.
We've never anticipated some of the things that we came across. And lately, it's like, it's okay to date here, and next thing you're there, and then you're there. There isn't that time to acquaint and get to know each other that much.
Oh, yes. Okay, get it from that angle.
I remember listening to Radio Talk at one point where the lady was looking for an advice to say that the current boyfriend isn't working, the other one is working as an Uber driver, and now they met at a complex. This guy had a boyfriend, and they left their significant other to be together, and they moved in. And I'm asking myself, they're moving in, so this month you might be in with this one, next month you're moving in with somebody else again. When do you give yourself time? That was my main concern with a relationship these days. But like I'm saying, give yourself time to understand your significant other and be able to talk and be real.
And be real. I think the biggest thing for me is when you make that choice, try and not worry about who they're gonna be in the future and how you're gonna be together.
Yes.
And really enjoy the now.
Yes.
Because I assure you, like I remember when we were talking then, like when I met Utebo Kotskolen, I knew this guy is like Abu number one. It's like it's an intelligent guy. Like, like one excel and I'm there, 50% and like always behind, this. And but it's not about that person's mind at the time. It's not about the 100% that they get at the time, because when they're gonna become a human, there is no exam.
Yes, you're not sitting.
But at that time, when are you looking at this intelligent man, you're like, you're gonna be intelligent for the rest of your life. But marriage, accounting and maths. Like there is no accounting and maths.
It's a challenge where you have to now figure out whilst you're there.
Yes.
I think the challenge becomes when you want to do the familiar. When you get into a relationship, forgetting that a relationship is about two people. And two adults at it, as Katin is saying, where you meet this person when they are grown, and then now you are growing, but you want to change this person, or you want somebody to change for you, or that person wants to change you for them, forgetting Gutikonje, this is another person, The sooner we understand that we are individuals, and we are trying to coexist in one space as individuals, it becomes better, because now I get to learn you as a person, and some of the things we can live with. I mean, we can, most definitely. You know, I normally hear people when they get into marriage, bacabaniso Colgate, bacabaniso Masita, we ask toilet.
No, the toilet paper issues and the toilet seat.
Yes,
Let
Colgate, good we put you say come on, guys.
You know, I didn't notice the toilet seat thing.
Yeah.
Like for forever. Until later on in my life.
Yeah.
You know, when I realized, oh, this is what they're talking about to say, I was angry. He always leave the toilet seat up. One day, I went, you know, when that, I normally try and not have fluids later so that I don't have to go to the bathroom and all that. So that time, I don't know. But then, midnight, AMs, I go to the loo. And then when I sat,
it was on top of the seat.
No, it was up.
Oh, okay.
So you know when you sit, not on that comfortable seat that you take up, it was so cold and it felt like I was sitting down. You know when you sit and you go like, what? For the first time I felt, this is that feeling where Ubudu was like, why was not there to let's sit down? You know? Why? It was so good. So I felt that small idea like to say,
but is it something that would be a deal breaker?
No, but for me, this is what they're talking about. That's when I'm like, I realize now when I go to the loo, I am mindful, so that I don't have to feel that feeling again. I get there, I check, put it the way I want it. Because guess what we do? I then switched again. So I would put it down and sit, but not close the
toilet completely.
Then he will then take it up. So I also leave it in my way. So he has to also do the other.
He has to learn to live with yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what toilet paper
Exactly. I think getting into marriage, you have to embrace some of the things and be able to make it work for you, even though they are uncomfortable. But you make them work for you so that you in a better place.
And with marriage as well, it's one of those things, the in-laws, things that we don't talk about, getting into the bigger family because it's beyond this one person, you know. And sometimes marriage could happen, it could end. It's okay. For me, I got to a point whereby people must not always think, I don't want to marry to divorce. Or if going gets tough, I'm gonna leave. Yes, for me, I would always say to somebody, leave if there's abuse. If there's physical abuse, threatening your life and all that, you can leave for anything else. I go. But it must not be the thing that you think so much about it, whether divorce happens or it doesn't. Really, at the end of it, I realize that it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Just go in. Marry if you want to marry. And if you feel like you're tired of being married, leave it. And go be singing. I know there was a point in time in my life, outside of marriage, where I'm like, I'm married young. Not for married young. You know, when you have a child early and then there's those responsibilities. But you can't have a child and then you're not with the same person so that you don't have kids from different whatever. And then you start living with somebody for so long and you realize, I've never lived alone because now it's this partner, it's this kids. Like, I've never had my time. I grew up in a family with people. Then I moved to the boarding school with so many people. Then I've never lived alone.
I think our outlook in life it's very different when I'm and that is testimony to how I got into marriage, whereby I didn't envisage myself married at a point. And I was that girl who's saying, I'm not going to have a child and blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to
Miss World.
I'm going to do me.
Miss World.
You know. But unfortunately, when it came, I embraced it. I became a mother that I never thought I would be. I became a wife that I enjoyed marriage, believe me.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you
don't
did.
get me started. But it all depends. When you're up for the challenge and when you go for it and that's it. There's no stipulation of anything in reality. But how when now you get there and you immerse yourself and you get to understand what is it that you're dealing with, then it becomes easy, and you don't have to abide by anybody else's standards. I mean, really, this is you. You're doing what you want. This is your life after all, and it has to matter. You know. I normally say in marriage, the two people get into marriage, and then they become one, and the second person or the first person will be God in that marriage. But if you allow the third person in, that's where the problem will start.
Yeah.
You understand? But if there's only the you, and not only that, there's also the dynamics of children, especially when we are giving birth maybe for the very first time. These two people, they were honeymooning, they were doing love together and all that, and this third person comes in. They put that person in the center.
Now it's about kids.
Yeah, you're gonna
lose the romance.
And then now, whilst we're concentrating on the way bringing up the kids or raising the kids up, then it becomes an issue. Yoguti, that's her duty alone. Until when we are together in this, even if when they grow up and they leave home, we still are together.
Yeah.
I realized that in my growing, whilst the man considered a woman's place to rear up the children, he was left on his own. Yeah, understand that, not knowing what to do with the.
And those are the other conversations we must have, because we really don't realize how we leave them outside of
of
nurturing
the kids
when we become mothers and wives.
You find most men go to taverns, they go to boys,
because
they don't know what to do. And when there's a family now sitting around, you are the chatterbox now with the kids, and they don't know how to even contribute.
You also now start sending him as a child in the house as well. Exactly. Then where is that boyfriend? Where is that, so it becomes a problem in that regard. But yeah, story for another day.
To the young ones, I would say, you know what, enjoy the ride, but be mindful. Be mindful. Yes. I think lately we
love yourself more, man.
Yes.
And do you.
Yeah. And that, with that being said, it doesn't mean being selfish.
Yes.
I've realized that the self that we're talking about has the fish in it for some.
Yeah. So it must be selfful, so that you are always aware, not selfish. The do you for me is sometimes we want to try to be what we are not. Like, Mina, I know that I didn't know how to cook.
Yes.
And then you want to try a whole lot of things to impress, or because somebody tells you, if you don't cook well, you don't do all those things proper and right, maybe you're going to lose. Then you're losing the sense of being you. If I was Wednesday, I was, and if you are Vilapa, go there, do your best that you can at the time.
And what works for you doesn't necessarily mean it will work for
me. The do you for me is that even if the parenting and being a mom is challenging you, let it challenge you. Don't try to be a super.
Do it to the best of your ability.
Your own
ability, not somebody else's expectation. As much as Mama Zala would want to tell you this, you already are a daughter, and you know that you come from a family. You didn't fall from a tree.
Exactly.
And then she comes, she wants to instill whatever. She has a family, she wants to run this side again. It becomes a challenge. When are you going to be able to start doing your family in the manner that you want to as a woman? Because really everybody has their own standards, they have their own wishes, they have their own point of view when it comes to life. So everything, so much has been taken. I normally say, if somebody says to me, but we used to do it like that, I say to them, show me the person who came with this, because this is not casting stone.
Like that.
And they are human beings. They came with this because it worked for them
at the time.
And who said it will work going forward for other people? So it doesn't have to be.
Okay, just leave me alone. Do you?
Exactly.
Wrapping up.
Yes.
Financial advice. Oh wow. I know, not advice, but just handling finances. I know that's your big space professionally that you play in, but just financial advice now, how we do things.
Oh, what a sad topic that we're entering at the moment. I say sad because I've seen a lot.
We're in debt.
I've seen a lot where when I looked at the whole thing, I understand that we were never told or taught how to relate to money.
Or relationship with money.
Yeah, to have a good relationship with money. Money is a mode of transacting, but yet at the same time, it's a spirit on its own.
Oh yeah.
And it seeks what we seek as human beings.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't love it, you won't have it.
Sure.
And if we are reckless, we won't have it, you know. So what I've seen in my space at the moment, I work with a lot of people who are indebted,
Yeah.
and who want to get out of debt. And some of the debts that you see, yes, they are reckless, but again, they come from a space, or rather from a place of not knowing better as individuals. And some is a decision that they make because we were told that you need to have some form of debt. Even if it's senseless, you need to have debt in any case. Debt you need, but it must be good debt as well. So until we have a change of mindset in terms of how we treat our finances and be able to manage our day-to-day life from what we are earning, then we won't be a better society.
Sure.
But once we start looking at what we are making, and what we are spending. We are a community of spenders in most cases. It's like we're told Zamoreka. You know, when you ask for money, stock sweet, you know, you go and buy, but you never ask for money to save, you know. So where I sit, I would say if people can learn how to earn, save, then spend.
In that way.
Yes. And remember, we used to do it the other way around. Yeah. So you earn, you save, and then you spend. Yes. Cool. Sure. So by the time you earn, you already know what's coming.
Yep.
By the time you save, you already know what you are going to spend and how much you will be left for you to be able to save. You know. So you start your savings, and then that which is left, then you will be able to spend it. Rather than spending, saving, and earning.
Because Portia, it doesn't work that way. I can't wait for your... I know you're launching something soon, but I can't wait for you to do these advices on debt and on also how we deal with those things on day to day. So please, let that happen, because not necessarily when you have somebody who's coming to you as a client. I think so many people can do better, more the young ones as well, because if they can learn things now, when they get employed now, because Tina Abadal, I think that's where now the help we need to get out of debt, to do things differently. It's going to take a long time. It can be before. But if we can just help them before, then we teach them something different now. Buying property and all that, not teaching people to still get out of debt.
It's heartening, I must tell you. The other day I was talking to a 27-year-old. She went through varsity and she started working. And in checking her credit report, I picked up that she has a debt of 210,000 rand. That she didn't know about. This debt dates back to 2021, and she only started working now. And she's asking me, but where is that coming from? I said to her, you see now the importance of checking your credit report from time to time, or subscribing to any credit bureau related company that is able to alert you prior to spending. So my assumption when I look at the what could have happened is that somebody could have done what we call identity theft, and they used her details to be able to get a loan. And now the loan is in her name. She didn't know that, and now she's stuck with this. Fortunately, that qualifies for prescription. I can prescribe that for her and be able to get her out of that situation where she doesn't have to pay that 210. So,
Girl Talk. Thank you for joining me. Look, I am looking forward to more Girl Talks. It's been a pleasure to have you on the couch. Finally!
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, you took me out of my comfort zone. Now I can see the possibilities.
Be happy. Be happy. Yes. And it's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cute.
Thank you.